Welcome to our strawberry patch here on the allotment. Now, as you can see, it's not massive. It's probably about 4 foot by 6 foot, so 24 square feet, or maybe 4.5 square meters. But we've got about 35 plants in here. Now, 35 plants, you want to allow 5 plants per person, ideally if you've got good space, so that you have enough strawberries to really enjoy a proper harvest from these delicious plants. Now, we're all looking good here at the moment. We've had plenty of rain, lots of sunshine, and you'll see there are lots of flowers on these plants and there are lots of fruit forming. We've done our base maintenance here, so we put some straw, fresh straw, underneath the fruit and the flowers of these plants. But the straw is not very thick, less than 1 inch. It's basically to help keep a bit of moisture in, but predominantly it's so that you can rest those ripening fruits on the straw so that they won't rot off. Now, these plants are growing in well composted soil, so they shouldn't need major feeding. You can always look at the leaves though and see whether you think your plants are starving. You can give them a bit of liquid feed. So our productive plants in this bed are about 3 years old. Strawberry plants in the main are productive for about 3 to 4 years. But during that time, plants will put out runners. Now, what a runner is effectively, it's a shoot that comes from the base of the plant, and as that shoot touches the soil, where it does, you get what are called adventitious roots appearing, and those roots will actually go down into the soil, and where that happens, you'll get leaves coming up, and you get a little clone of the parent plant, so you get a little plantlet. Now, these plants can put out between 15 and 40 of these runners, and that's fantastic because it's the next generation of plants. But this reproduction can be at the expense of fruit production. We want the fruit, don't we? That's what we're here for. So what you really want to look out for in the coming weeks is you want to look out for these runners, and I would say take out 90% of them. Leave 1 or 2 here and there, okay? Because you may want to grow some of these runners on to become new plants that you can put into a new bed to start the next generation of strawberry plants in your allotment or in your garden. So take out most of the runners, hang on to a few because they will be of use to you, but let these plants focus on fruit and productivity. So there's your allotment maintenance check. Now let's go down to the roof terrace and look at what we have to do with strawberry plants that are growing in containers. So here on the roof terrace, these strawberry plants have been doing really well. Loads of sunshine, and very importantly, because they're in containers, we've been giving them lots of water. So how much water should you give a strawberry plant in a container? Well, the way in which I do it is I get my finger, I stick it into the compost, and at the tip of my finger underground, if it's not moist, then I'm going to give it some water. So that generally keeps these plants in good shape. These plants have formed fruit now, just like the ones up at the allotment. And so what I'm going to do is, same as the allotment, I'm going to raise these fruit off the compost so that as they ripen, they don't rot off. So just use a little bit of straw, not too much. Make a nice cozy bed for our fruits, because that's really the most exciting thing about a strawberry, isn't it? Those delicious red summer treats. The other great thing though about using straw even in containers is it helps to keep that important moisture in so it doesn't all evaporate, and it will keep weeds down. Now, you shouldn't really have a problem with weeds in your containers though, because you use sterilized soil. That means it's free from weed seeds. Another great advantage though of containers, particularly with strawberries, is that the fruit can actually grow over the side of the container and they can ripen with plenty of airflow and plenty of extra warmth. Now, within containers, when you've got fruit formed, other than watering, you do generally have to feed them. That's because in this container, there's a limited supply of nutrients for these hungry plants, much more so than plants that are growing in the open ground in your garden. So what you normally feed strawberries with is something that's got quite a lot of potash in it. Now, the simplest way of dealing with that is to use your tomato feed. If you've got any tomato food, that is absolutely perfect. Just feed your plants the specified dose once every 7 to 14 days, and just half a watering can with the right dose should do this number of plants right here. Now, with your plants well watered and well fed and mulched and all looking good, all you really have to do is wait for those fruit to ripen. And that's an exciting time. You come out every day, watch them start to blush and watch that colour deepen, and you plan your day when you're going to feast and harvest. And you can bet that some of the birds in the local vicinity have got the same idea as you, and they will pop down and help themselves, and that can be a bit disappointing. So to avoid that, just simply drape some mesh over your plants in containers, raised beds, or in bigger beds. Some mesh over your plants will basically ensure that you can harvest as many as you want before you leave some for the birds. So for the modern gardener, strawberries really are a great return on investment. With the right preparation, they're fairly simple to grow and they offer fantastic rewards. I mean, who can resist the delights of a strawberry that was grown at home? Not me anyway. Although technically, these weren't grown at home.